you're watching this video, it's likely that you're relatively new to my world. Hi, my name's Craig Hurd, a nickname the Business Architect. I work with family men looking to ultimately build their business built to last without having to sacrifice themselves or their relationships or their health or anything like that. Now, this video has been sent because it was a great little moment and a great little learning and something I like to share with people that are new to my world. And it's all about pricing. Pricing is a contentious topic for a lot of coaches and speakers. How much should I charge? How do I figure out my pricing? How do I increase my pricing? Ultimately, how do I make more money over time? And it's something that a lot of coaching programs jump on, and they teach what I think is quite a poor, weak strategy on raising pricing. In terms of market research, I've taken a bunch of these programs, and 80% of them, 90% of them all say the same thing, which is just raise your prices, put a bigger number in front of the potential client. And I think that's problematic because it creates a lot of problems. It creates a lot of self-doubt. You can feel like you're taking advantage. You can feel like you're being greedy, but of course you want to make more money. And so guys I find are stuck in this dichotomy, this place in between those two. I want to earn more money, but I don't know if I should charge more. And a difficult place. Now, I wanted to share this clip. It's a clip from a coaching client of mine, Chuck. And Chuck's a great guy, runs an incredible business. But one of the realizations that he had recently after participating in our Prosperity Accelerator, a 28-day program designed to build out your business to the level of profit and prosperity that you're looking for you and your family. But anyway, he had this eureka moment on pricing and really discovered what is a new way, a new system, a new ideology on how to effectively price your program, your coaching, your speaking, so that you can prosper, your family can prosper, but also it feels ethical and it really helps the client, not hurts. And so this clip is all about that. Now, where I sit right now, we're currently traveling through Europe. As you know, as a speaker and coach, you have the ability to be 100% remote. So we're currently in this big old house in Italy, in Pompeii, just south of Rome. And it's a great opportunity that we couldn't say no to. And so I wanted to share this clip and introduce myself again. Thank you for being part of this list. I really encourage you to consume as much as you can. It's all just free. There's nothing really to sell you. It's really just a effort to help guys like you win. So I hope you enjoy this clip and any videos or trainings that I send in the coming days and weeks.
The one thing I was really proud of was my price just came off of my tongue.
Yes.
Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like, because he asked me and I'm like, well, I have a program and it works out to this much per month. And he's like, okay. And he says, if we were to not go on the accelerator, like if we were to slow it down just a little bit, what do you do? I'm like, well, then we meet twice a month instead of 4 times a month, and it's this much.
Yeah.
And it was and I was very comfortable with it. I didn't hesitate. I got off and I was like, damn, that was good. Like, and I was, that part of it, I was proud of myself, right? Because I was like, and I don't know if I shared this with you, but I should share this with you because this was one thing and that really made me feel good is I was talking to a gentleman about a week ago and Craig, I don't remember the exact setting, but he asked me, he's like, okay, so you do this and that. And I'm like, yeah. And this is my process. And he's like, how much do you charge? And I said, well, it works out to about $900 a month.
Mm.
And he looked at me and he's like, that's outstanding. He said, that price tells me that you are elite at what you do.
Yeah.
He says, and that's fantastic.
That's great.
I'm like, yeah, I am.
Isn't that so funny?
Yeah.
It's the same Chuck. It's the same Chuck ultimately. I mean, you've probably got better over the last number of months, but price actually gives them confidence rather than putting them off.
Yeah. And that's what he said. And I was like, that was an ultimate compliment that he said, by your price, it shows that you are a professional and you are very good at what you do.
Yeah.
And just that him making that correlation was like, yeah, that was worth hearing. Like it's
really good. They did this. If
it's funny, they did this study, I think it was the University of Cambridge, and they presented X amount of people with 3 bottles of wine. And one was $5, one was $50, one was $500. And they said, rank these 3 bottles in terms of taste. First, second, third. Unsurprisingly, third place was the $5 bottle of wine. Second place was the $50 bottle of wine. And first place was the $500 bottle of wine. But the kicker was that it was all exactly the same wine. It was just packaged differently. And it was price tag 500 that frames the subjects in the study to think, well, that's got to be good.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you haven't covered one line of coaching with him, you haven't one session, and yet he knows you're good at it because of the price tag, which is in line with the quality of coaching that you give, you know?
Yeah.
And actually to charge $200 is to say, well, it can't be that great.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's really the correlation, which told me everything about what, your program, Prosperity Accelerator, now Built to Last, is really all about, is building the confidence in what we do, because we're far better in what we do than we thought we were. I mean, and I refer to Greg often, for a guy that would have been tickled silly for somebody to buy his dinner and give him $100 bill to stand up and do an hour-long talk or a comedy session. Now it's $7,500, and it rolls off his tongue like it's $7, $7.50, And he's like, Chuck, I'm making $7,500 doing this, and he says, I'd have been happy if they'd give me a steak dinner and $100,
Yeah, completely. I know. And I think, he's the same great, most great coaches, like most young 22-year-olds who are just trying to make money, they look to charge as much as possible. And the coaching industry is full of gurus that will sell programs to that, of the advice just being, just raise your pricing. But unless you've got that internal conviction sorted, and you're able to reflect on your value, and that's why we do it in the Prosperity Accelerator. We take time to go, well, what do people actually say after they work with you? And it's always incredible. And then by bringing up that mirror and deepening the conviction that guys have, we're able to then go, I'm undercharging.
Yeah.
Which is a different conversation than just put your prices up because you'll make more money.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that. I had that conversation last night with a lady. We were talking about self-worth, self-image, and I was sharing with her how things have changed since I've really worked on myself and my self-image and my self-worth. That now I've went from $200 a month to $900 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm not a different person. I'm still Chuck, right? Am I a different person? I am, because I've worked on me, my self-concept, my self-image, my self-worth. And that's now why I can do it. And she felt like the reason that I was doing that is because I've done it more and I got comfortable saying it. And I didn't want to say I disagree with you, but in so many words, I kind of did, because I don't care how many times you do something. If you don't feel you're worthy of the $900 a month, you're going to be like, yeah, it's $900.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because you can do it 1,000 times, but if you don't think you're worth $900, you're going to get 1,000 no's, or you know what I mean? But if you have that self-worth and self-conviction, self-image that, yes, I'm good at what I do, and I'm actually worth more than $900, but I'm only charging you $900.
Right.
Then people are like, shit, if you charge $900, yeah, that's a good price. I'm in.
Yeah.
How do I sign up? Because I believe in me, and they're going to pick up on that self-belief, and they're just going to be like, it was kind of like with you. Like, I didn't know you, but you were so convicted in what you do. I'm like, yeah, I want some of that. Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and so I should ask you, do you think did you agree with my perspective that it's really about our self-worth, self-image, or is it about repetition?
No, it's repetition will get you more yeses, because you're without getting too much into it, when you're lying, you're saying a number and you don't think it's worth that, never mind convincing the other person. When you're lying, your internal system is freaking out. I call it your nervous system, call it your conscience. It's going, you're lying to this person.
Yeah.
And you can continue to do that until eventually that nervous system and that internal reaction stops screaming at you. You can do that and just you're shutting down the internal voice. Yeah. But if you and you'll get more yeses because you're visibly not freaking out, your eyes aren't widening. That will work. And that is the advice of most gurus out there, unfortunately, of just say it enough and it'll sound real. But all you get really good at is you get better and better at being a fraud.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I thought, where I think if you work on yourself first, your self-image, your self-concept, your self-worth, like you and I have talked about so many different times about doing the work on me.
Yeah.
And everything out here is it's gonna reflect that. It's a lot easier to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely. And then the other thing to consider as well is you're much in the same way that your price determines your value, your conviction improves your advice. So for example, if you tell a coaching client to do something because you know that it's going to help him or her move forward, if you're shaky in your conviction of that because you don't think you're worth a lot, you don't think your advice is worth much, then you'll end up saying something like, well, you could try this.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, well, I might try that then. Versus, look, Johnny, I've done this a bunch of times now, and I've seen this 1,000 times, and actually the biggest thing you need to focus on is this thing. And because you believe that, and because it's true, and because you've seen it, and because you're genuine, he'll go, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
I'll do that. Yeah.
And then your coaching becomes better, and then it becomes worth more, and the whole thing builds itself up. So instead of, and my biggest thing is I want to teach as many guys as possible how to build a successful business that's built to last, not how to trick somebody into $2,000 over and over again.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what I thought too, Craig, because I think when you're convicted in what you say, they buy in because you know it works, but they're just going on your belief. Yeah. That's a huge step forward for your client already.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's perfect.
But yeah, I'm so glad that eureka moment or that penny drop moment is happened for you. It's not always obvious to guys because, and it's no one's fault. It just takes a minute to realize that actually what we're doing here, we're not just getting really good at sales or anything like that. We're not just increasing leads. We're trying to build something that's, as is obvious, but built to last. And the way you build something built to last is you make you the most solid part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that, if the sports industry disappeared tomorrow, you'd be like, okay, I'm just going to work with teenagers.
Yeah.
And here's how I'm going to reframe it.
And here's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And not that your industry or your client's going to disappear anytime soon, but you may decide 27 months from now that actually the business is relatively automated and actually your passion for it is diminished. And you're like, maybe I'm not the guy to coach. Maybe I need to hire someone else. Maybe I need to focus here. Maybe I need to work with sports organizations. Maybe I need to work with only elite athletes or firemen or whatever you decide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have the framework and the ability to go, well, I'm at my center. I've got self-worth. I'm a great coach. I have the ability to transform lives. How am I going to structure all that to a way that serves this person?
Yeah.
And
then ultimately it doesn't matter who you serve, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It just, the only reason you really, or one of the major reasons why you niche down isn't because more people will buy, although that's true. It's because it'll focus your mind at getting really, really good at something.
Yeah.
The fact that more people buy is a good bonus. And it means everything in your business is much simpler because your content is the same message that you give to your clients, that you give to your potential clients, that you give to old clients and new clients. And you have the same repetition conversations that makes you, oh, I've had this conversation before. This guy that's really struggling or this girl that's really struggling with this thing, if I was all over the place with my audience, I would only hear this maybe once or twice. But the fact that I only work with this kind of person, I've heard this this pain, I've heard this 18 times. I know exactly what to do.
Well, and I should share with you that that's exactly where I am. Like even when this guy called me the other day, he's like, is this what you do? I said, that's exactly what I do. I said, this is right in my wheelhouse. I said, this is what I do every single day. And he's like, oh, okay. And it was just so convicting on my part, because I know that when I sit down with her, I'll be able to help her.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't sit and wonder, how am I going to do this?
Yeah. Bring out the playbook.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what I do. But I could see, like you said, if I was helping this, and then I'd be like, oh shit, how am I supposed to help this person again?
What's the problems? And you might be able to do it, but it's exhausting, and there's no momentum in that.
Yeah.
You're constantly reinventing the wheel. We tried circle, let's try square,
Yes.
Crazy stuff.